Heard and everything. Man, look like this is gonna be another episode. We had a fairly successful episode last week. I mean, not last week, but Monday. It was pretty good.
About to say Monday.
Right, Um, there was a lot of good feedback from the episode, but we'll talk about that once Bill's talk about his time with the beta. This is episode 72 of the First and Framerates Podcast. Myself, VF Baller, got DJ 81 and Bills. He wasn't on the last episode, but he's back. He had a business deal, business situation to tend to. Everything's going on the up and up with him. Definitely can tell by the way he changed things on his Twitter. Many blessings and many, I don't even want to know where to go with that. I'm just proud of you, honestly. But anyway, definitely NBA draft that's just started. I had to change the title because earlier we were going to talk about the NBA Live 20 canvas thing, but it was something for charity. Not necessarily saying that it's not important or anything. Charity is always good, but there's nothing to talk about on that front end. We'll talk about NBA Live once they actually decide to put something out as far as their they decide to put something out as far as their game. Anyway, Bills, I'm gonna let you go first. What's been going on with you?
Whole lot of shit, man. I went and hired a manager and taking these fucking pictures for my EP that doesn't even really exist yet, and fucking recording 2 new songs and re-recording another 2 songs. So there's been a lot of shit going on. Some people may notice I pretty much wiped my entire Twitter.
Yeah, so trolls rejoice.
Yeah, y'all gonna be able to just go ahead and ride out and say whatever dumb shit y'all feel like saying. I'll just, I'll let that ride. But yeah, man, I've been trying to chill as much as possible in between the work I've been doing. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Okay, what about you, DJ? How's everything going with you?
I think it's been good. Been just doing this trainer's apprenticeship for personal training, so that's always a work in progress. I'm actually going to be practicing, working, putting together some programs. So, if anybody wants to holler, I'm here. So,
yeah, because I noticed you put a few things out there about what you're trying to put together and ask us for feedback as well. I didn't put in my 2 cents, but I will in the short future. Anyway,
hold on a second. No.
What?
See, my Twitter's safe, but this podcast, motherfuckers ain't safe. Hold on, Neff. How you gonna act like VF the only motherfucker on this podcast?
that is true.
So me and DJ just we ain't shit. It's yo, what up, VF baller? And then it's like me and DJ like we're here. What up?
What's going on, Chris Thomas Pooh? He's always here. What's happening?
Yeah, what's going on, Chris Thomas and Pooh? What's up?
What's up, everybody in the chat?
Yeah, what's up, everybody?
Almost everybody.
Well, I mean, once again, man, the last episode was great, and we're going to get into the topics that's in front of us. Not much to talk about the NBA draft, but as because it's live at the moment as we're talking, as we're live now. So whatever happens during the draft, we're just going to commentate on that as it happens. But anyway, we're going to start off with the Madden beta. Yeah, I know we talked about it on the special episode, but Bills was not there. So we're going to let Bills talk and let him give us his impressions of the actual beta, because I know he spent plenty of time with it. So what are your thoughts and what did you take from it, Bills?
I came away really impressed, honestly. Okay. The run game is much improved from last year. They seem to have put RPM pretty much back to where it was, but they can still do a little bit of work with it. It's still a bit too streamlined where you can kind of turn on a dime, but they'll work on it. It was a beta, so I'm sure they'll tweak it a little bit. The throwing animations were amazing. The fact that they could tailor them to a 5-yard throw versus a 10-yard throw or even a 20-yard throw, and of course a bomb down the field, it makes a big difference as far as your drop back and making your reads, because the pass rush also was crazy. What else?
Yeah, the pass rush has been really good.
The pass rush has been. People are complaining, but I mean, honestly, it's not even really simulating how it is in real life. I mean, real life would be even worse. So they should be glad that the pass rush isn't how it will be in real life.
Oh yeah, because I mean, real life, you got in regular plays, you got less than anywhere between less than 3 seconds and a little bit over 3 seconds to pass the ball. So, with that being said, if you have 5 seconds now, maybe 6 seconds that's in the game now, I mean, you should be able to look across the field and find out who's your number one target or whatever the case may be prior to that.
Yeah,
so
you have to
I don't
know your
understand how
personnel.
people are complaining. I don't get it.
Yeah, you have to know your personnel. You have to know what play you're running. You have to know if you're taking a 3-step drop, 5-step drop, 7-step drop. You have to know all these things prior to picking that play. When you get to the line and you figure out exactly where that elite pass rusher is, then you slide your protection towards that side. You'll be fine. But, these folks are just out here complaining about having to play real football, and it's just really annoying because what's going to end up happening is Madden's going to do the same shit. Dev's going to do the same shit they do every year, which is nerf the game to basically take care of these little bosom babies that have to complain about every little football element that's put in the game, and it's nauseating because the beta played really, really good, and it played sim football. I mean, the superstar abilities definitely affect the game. You can notice the difference between superstar players and regular players. You can even notice the difference between regular players and mediocre players. Even that little bit of difference, you can notice the difference between superstar players and just good players. So, overall, it was a really good experience. Franchise got a few upgrades. It's not exactly fleshed out the way folks want it to be, but the scenario engine really kind of adds an element to it that is, it's dynamic, and also the fact that, also with picking whether you're going to neutralize a guy or ignore a guy, like that actually makes a big difference when it comes to the game planning and what happens in the game. Because I told you I had a situation where, my offensive coordinator, I should say, asked me what I wanted to do with Aaron Donald. I said I wanted to stop him completely, neutralize him.
Right.
And when we got to the game, he got cut blocked by the running back. Then he got cut blocked by a lineman. Then after the play, the lineman shoving him. You don't really see that too much with other players. Like if I picked not ignore, but pretty much just let him do what he does, then it probably would have been different. It wouldn't have been as physical with him. So, it's just a lot of different things this year with Madden. Yes, they haven't overhauled the engine completely. So, if you're one of those people that just can't stand how Madden looks, then it's probably not going to be for you.
Yeah, I think what I said before. I think that with Madden, at the end of the day, you actually have a Madden that actually works. You don't have anything out of the way that's wonky or whatever. It's playing football in its own way, that based on that engine, and it's probably the best that we're going to get as of right now, unless they continue to improve on that engine. But right now, Madden is playing pretty good. I don't see where anyone, could say that this the same game or it's something that they can't play without having an open mind. I mean, if you're just against EA and you don't like the way Madden football play, I mean, I don't even know why you're wasting your time. But if you want to play a decent football game, I think this is a good one to go with. It's not that bad. But
yeah, there's going to be folks. There are going to be folks that are going to say, I just don't want to play Madden. That's fine. You can sit and wait around for 2K to come out, or whenever that's going to happen, 2030 or fucking never. And you can play your old 2K games, 2K5, 2K8. You can play old Maddens, whatever floats your boat. Just don't talk about Madden because you sound stupid. You haven't played the game. You're talking about how it looks. You talk about Madden players and how they're not sim and all this stupid shit. But you're going to end up, even though you hate the game, you're going to end up talking about it. So just shut the fuck up. That's what I say.
I think at the end of the day, when people are talking about how much they don't like a game, I think it only goes but so far. I think,
of course.
I mean, how many times you have to tell us you dislike a game? You know what I mean? I think that's what
it's attention that they want.
Yeah, because I think we are, all three of us pretty much realize that, look, if you're still talking about this game and you claim not to like it, I think you low key like it.
It's similar to the folks who did nothing but go out of their way to bash Live 19 all while playing 2K. It's like, if you're enjoying 2K, what is the point of talking about Live 19? It's just, people love to complain, and that's fine. I'm to the point where I just want to enjoy my games, and anybody who doesn't like the game, don't play it. If you like the game, play it. Who cares? It just you're not gonna get a fucking you're not gonna get a fucking reward for going on Twitter and bitching about Madden and you haven't even played it. It's just it's stupid.
Yeah.
But back to the game, I mean, yeah, just in general, it was a really good experience from what I played. I'm excited to play more when it comes out. It's going to be a purchase for me. And, yeah, I mean, I think it played one of the – I didn't shut off Twitter. But
I don't know. I don't know if y'all are ahead of me or not. But as of right now, the Pelicans are selecting right now. And
Zion got picked. So.
You guys are ahead of me. Okay, so
yeah.
I'm just letting everybody know in the chat that Zion did get picked, obviously at number 1. So
wearing
also
a tight ass suit.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of small, but the NBA draft is going on right now. But it's in the title, but we're not necessarily talking about the draft. We're just giving updates on who gets drafted, and we're going to give our thoughts at the same time as the draft unfolds. But the other topics are still going on. So
Charter, you make a good point. Some guys bash Madden all the time because that's the only way they have you. Of course, I mean, for the guys who don't have any personality or any type of life that people care about, all they do is bash a game, and they have their little niche crowd that will come and listen to them bitch about the game, because those people that come and listen to them bitch about the game don't have any type of integrity or guts to actually go and make their own videos, so they live vicariously through somebody else bitching about Madden. That's fine. I mean, but that's their thing. It's just when you start coming and tagging people, and it's fucking childish.
I mean, my thing is, like I said before, with my old channel, the Virtual Footballer channel, to me, it's tiresome. It got very old to constantly do that. I just don't see how somebody can make videos like that. I mean, if it's successful for them, God bless them. But I have to be more diverse. I mean, this is one of the reasons why we made First and Framerates. When we made it, it wasn't going to be just another football gaming podcast. It was going to talk about other stuff. I mean, look, we got NHL 20. We're going to talk about Anthony Davis and LeBron James. We're talking about the NBA draft. We're going to talk about Madden, but we're going to talk about it in the sense where it's other things outside of just breaking down why a play don't work. I mean, we're talking about our enjoyment with Madden, our displeasure with Madden, why certain devs don't do certain things with Madden, why the franchise mode, this, that, and the third, or certain things that we may like the college teams are back in Madden. I ain't say back, but they're in Madden now. So we're trying to be more diverse. I just can't see how somebody just constantly beat up on one game over and over again. It's like you have to like something about it to do it. Because me personally, if you dislike something, I'm not talking about it. I just can't.
They like the attention that they get by complaining about it.
Right. DJ, you wanted to add anything
to tell you the truth, some people do treat commentating Madden like they need oxygen to breathe. Mm-hmm. And it's just one of those things where, every year they know their views are going to be up during the Madden season or just beyond before Madden starts. And then, when it starts to die down, then they're like, okay, well, I'll shut down for now. And it's
right. Nev said it perfectly.
I just hate to see that people only do their channels based on Madden by itself. I'm like, like you said a few moments ago, just trying to add variety to the show. And it was funny because I was listening to a Hard 8 Times live stream earlier, and he was talking about getting feedback from the audience as far as what improvements they can make to their podcast. And it's one of those things where his podcast is not a strictly gaming podcast. They talk about other stuff as well. And then some people are like, well, you should make your podcast strictly gaming. I could see the audience members who mostly, from what I can see, would mostly engage in football and specifically Madden. So if we were to do something like that, it would seem like the demand would be, talk about Madden more, talk about the NFL more. But it's just but we're trying to provide something that's different. And
right. Yeah, I think
that's the reason why you have this podcast in the first place. I'm like, not only provide a variety of topics, but also provide a variety of views between yourself, Bills, and myself.
Right. No, I think we're the only gaming podcast or sports gaming podcast to actually talk about sports and gaming. Because everybody just goes straight to the gaming side. They talk about 2K, they talk about NHL, they talk about live, they talk about Madden. They stick to that gaming side, but I question their actual acumen on sports in general, because all you're talking about is the game. So what do you know about the actual sport on the flip side? See, all three of us, we have some insight on what we feel and have some knowledge about the sport outside of the game. And I think both of them mesh together very well, but nobody really taps into that outside of us. And, if that's the case, then we're just going to stay unique. And
to be completely honest, I'm glad that Madden this year has finally gotten to the point where we can actually discuss real football and Madden this year and actually go and see some of the things on Madden reflected in an NFL game, so we can go back and talk about how we approach playing certain teams. That's something that Madden's added this year as far as actually, using a strategy to play certain teams.
Right.
Because, before, when there weren't the superstar abilities and the X factors and, the quarterback throwing animations, you didn't have to really worry about that stuff. But now that's a new element that's been added that makes it feel like a game that is organic every time you play it.
All right, Morant has been picked up by the Grizzlies. So they sent Mike Conley off to the Jazz, and they basically picked up his replacement.
Jay Morant.
Yeah,
Jay Morant. I mean, I understand.
Morant.
I understand.
Morant, whatever.
Yeah, I understand, because with Morant is cheaper. And you're going to probably get that same type of production, because they had to sign Mike Conley to that big contract. And I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, he's not going to be that long. So,
well, they've been rebuilding. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. They're going to build around Ja and Jaren Jackson. So,
right.
That might be enough for them to compete in a few years if they add some complementary pieces, because, we'll have to see how Ja transitions to the next level, because he had a little bit of a turnover problem.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
But Trae Young had a bit of a turnover problem.
Hey man, let's not talk. Hey man.
No, I was gonna say.
I am in no position, or I'm not qualified to talk about that dude. I am not.
Y'all can probably go back last year to a podcast where I told VF, I was like, bro, chill out. It's gonna be all right.
I can't talk about him. I can't.
Trash Young is what he called him, folks.
He shut me the hell up. He shut me all the way up. I can't even. I gotta eat crow. I can't say nothing about him.
I get it. You wanted Luka. You wanted Luka at the time.
I thought Luka was a better player. And let's be
honest. He's debatable still,
I mean, low key, let's be honest. I think that Trae, he went past a lot of people's expectations. He's really good. I didn't think he was this good.
Yeah.
Like, I thought
he seems to be a leader. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the guys seem like they genuinely like playing with him, and they rally around him, and they got a couple wins last year against good teams that they probably shouldn't have gotten. Right. If he wasn't there, so
Neff Young said, Neff said that this is why trolls go to the big sub channels and complain, because their own channel has minus 80 views. Hey, listen, we're up and coming. We got minus 80 views, but we don't troll nobody. You fuck with us, we fuck with you. That's just our motto.
We roast people.
Yeah, we roast people.
But that's usually in defense.
Trolling's different.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's in defense of us. We don't go out and just mess with people. So yeah, but I get it. That's why trolls do that. They do. Yeah. But anything else you want to talk about as far as the beta? Because I want you to talk about the riders as well.
The last thing I'll say is, any dev that's listening to this, please don't touch that fucking game as far as the stuff that y'all added this year. Like, don't touch the throwing animations. Don't touch the pass rush.
I'm gonna be honest, Bills. They can leave the game as is. To be honest, even though the AI, in my opinion, the AI has issues.
Yeah, the AI has some defensive issues. Yeah, and I'm gonna talk about
sometimes the 2-man animations they do suck. They do have a little suction at times with the fighting for the ball in the air. Yeah, but it's not as bad as it was before. I mean, they can leave it like it won't be an issue.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, if they do that, like they did it last year. Like, there was a little bit of suction in the beta where they kind of fixed it. When the game came out, you didn't really see it.
Right.
So if they minimize that and put the game out the way it was with the beta. The other thing is the hit sticks, man. For those guys that have the hit stick, the hit stick X factor, it's a bit ridiculous.
It's a little
I'm not gonna lie.
It's a little OP. Me and DJ also talked about the fact that you can't really truck nobody with a running back or stiff arm.
We talked about
you
that.
can't juke them either.
Yeah,
I've juked some guys, but the fake out system's a bit different. It just seems like you juke them, but they don't really fall for it like they used to and get hit with like a crazy fake out. You just kind of get around them. But the other thing that I spoke about, even the first game that I played the day we were on PSN together, I told DJ, I'm like, yo, it seems like these guys are smarter about the angles that they take.
They are.
Which I really like because it minimizes big plays.
The only problem with that is there are times when they do take the right angle, but when they go to tackle you, they act like they got rocks for brains. I've seen like 2 or 3 guys come in for a gang tackle, and if you do a quick juke or you do a quick move, they will stand there and you'll run by past them. I've seen that, but the angles that they take, phenomenal. That's like some of the best I've seen in Madden, because the pursuit angles in Madden been a problem for a long time.
Yeah, they have.
So this
I was actually genuinely impressed. Like, you can really notice it on punt returns. Yeah, because on punt returns, it used to be, you just take off to one side, juke one guy, and then you're gone. But now, I didn't run any kicks back for touchdowns. I got close a couple times on a kick return, but it was really just using the blocking the way they have it set up. And then, on punt returns, I didn't really even get close. I find myself just kind of trying to get a few yards and run out of bounds.
RJ Barrett goes to Duke.
Goes to the Knicks?
You mean the Knicks? Good
God.
He goes to LA. He doesn't go to Duke. He's gone.
We're not even. How many minutes are we into this podcast? And we already got.
Hey, look, I was on 10 already behind this.
ESPN ain't never gonna hire your ass.
Hey, I was already on 10 behind this fool talking about these my Georgia Southern Eagles. I was already mad about that.
Y'all should have heard him earlier.
We should have had it. We should have had the camera. We should have had the audio running.
Audio recording, because he did his own monologue about what I thought was just an imaginary person, but apparently it's a real person.
No, it's a real guy.
Wow,
that was fucking hilarious.
Hello Kitty, kittens. Talking about they the Panthers. They'll be a meowing talking about they damn Panthers. But anyway,
but not overall, I was impressed with Madden 20, and I think as long as they fix the bugs that were in the beta and they keep the game the way it was as far as the animations with the quarterback, just keep them the way they are. It's fine. The pass rush is fine.
Yeah, I don't think they need to touch anything but a little bit of AI logic.
And I would like them to fix the RPM because there's something about
put it back to what it was when it started out last year.
Because there's something about when you're running back kicks. You can kind of turn like on a dime without really even cutting. It's like, it's weird because it doesn't feel like that in the rest of the game. It's like only on kick returns. But it's like you feel like the Madden 12 feel where you could just kind of turn. And, it was something about that. I need to put RPM back where it was, like DJ said, when Madden 19 first came out, because that was the best running that I'd ever experienced.
All right. Does the Lakers have the number 4 pick still?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
I thought the Hawks just got it from the Pelicans.
No. So they're going to.
Oh yeah,
basically the trade didn't go through, so they're picking for
the Hawks. I got
the Pelicans, who might actually be picking for the Hawks.
Yeah, so that's basically what it was with the Trae Young and the Luka deal. They picked Luka, but they picked him for the Mavericks. I got it. I looked at it, I was like, that looks weird. But anyway. DJ Detroit says X Factor mean lazy devs, not for having signature moves. You know what?
What?
I'm not going there. I'm not.
It's one of those things where it's just like
it's splitting hairs almost.
Right, because all the games have some type of superstar traits and abilities to separate. I figured one of the biggest complaints was, there's no separation between your top tier elite players versus your like mid-level superstars, and then just everyone else. So that's a start if you want to go there.
I mean, let's be honest. What would we really want? don't get me wrong, because I like signature moves, but would you rather want signature moves or you want differentiation of players?
Well, here's my question. So with 2K8, was them adding the weapons that they had in the superstar trades basically? What was that laziness for? Them not making a franchise?
Good point.
I mean, what are we doing there? They promised. No, they didn't promise signature moves. No, they said they would.
I know. We're not
about to go on the weeds. It's
like
I'm gonna be quite honest. The last time they talked about signature moves was when Deuce McAllister, what's the other running back for the Giants?
Tiki Barber.
When Tiki Barber running animation was in the game, and that was Madden 08. That was the last time they talked about. That's the last time they honestly talked about signature moves in Madden.
But that's what I'm saying is they never promised it. They said they were working on it. They said they were going to put signature running animations, which they did for certain players. Like, I mean, it's just people gotta.
Because I do see instances where, like in that beta, where I saw players carrying the ball like a loaf of bread. Some people were carrying it nice.
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy has his own. They added one for Richard Sherman. They said Cam Newton has his own.
Shoot. Josh Norman
seems like
he just hanging it. He's just holding it with one hand, like away from his body. I was like, what?
And here's the other thing. Truth be told, how many NFL players really run much differently from the next guy? There's only a couple people that really stick out. So I get where he's coming from, but the signature animations would be more about the quarterbacks, which they added.
And let's not even talk about that. The quarterbacks, all 32 got their
damn near everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, all 32 got their different throwing motions.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not gonna knock them on the signature animations.
Yeah, I mean, I think the X factor is fine because you can tell the difference between a Tom Brady and a Matt Ryan, or a Matt Ryan and a Russell Wilson. I think that's I mean, what more could you ask? I mean, if it wasn't in the game, let's just say, for instance, if it wasn't in the game, people would be complaining about it not being in the game.
No, DJ Detroit, that's what I'm saying. I get what you're saying, but we're paying. Yeah, we're paying customers, and we're just basically telling the truth as far as what we heard, what they said, and we don't think that it means lazy developers. That's just our perception of it.
And that's the difference between everybody. Just because he wants, signature animations, that's not what the next person wants. His money might be worth the signature animation, so I get it.
Other people said if Mouthpiece ain't in the game, they ain't buying it. Who am I to tell you that you're wrong? I'm just saying we don't believe that it's lazy developing to not put signature moves in for every single guy. That's
especially when they flipped and did what they did this year.
Yeah.
You want to start off with the Madden sliders and let everybody know what we mean about them being unexplained throughout what?
Yeah, we can get into
that. Ever since Charter 04 been doing sliders,
I'm glad Charter's in the chat too, because he can kind of Oh, go ahead.
And just to add to what you're about to talk about, now we can talk about lazy developers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, you want to talk about lazy development?
This is
your segment of the podcast.
Yeah, this is the segment that you want to definitely pay attention to. This.
And Houston, 224. Yes, I agree.
I appreciate him coming through because he works a lot during this time. I'm glad he was able to come through.
Yeah, much respect for that. So let's talk about some sliders. Now, I know a lot of people don't touch the sliders. The weather effect having
no.
We talk about that in the special.
Not any real effects. I'm like,
go ahead. Yeah.
You may have a player slip in the rain and stuff like that, but as far as like any real effects, not really.
This is what I will say. It doesn't really pertain to weather too much. Well, it kind of does. They fixed the lighting. They went and redid the lighting for basically every stadium in the game. And I'm not even just talking about like indoor stadiums like domes. I'm talking like every stadium, even the way the sun shines on the field, and just it looks like it does on TV. Every field looks, it looks completely different, and it looks very authentic. So I will give them credit for that. We still do need dynamic weather, and we need weather to matter as far as the gameplay. So definitely not gonna sit and not hold them accountable for that though.
Right. So let's talk about.
All right. So yeah. So I know a lot of people don't really touch sliders. You kind of try to play the game for what it is, and I definitely respect that. Trust me, if I could play the game and not have to touch sliders, I would. So the thing with sliders, we tried to ask the devs a couple times about certain sliders and what they mean.
I mean, throughout the years.
Yeah,
not just this year.
Yeah, and they haven't really had an answer. So we've had to go in and kind of check and, just experiment with some things. And it's kind of worrisome that they don't know what the sliders mean, or they kind of sidestep our questions every time we ask what a slider does, because there's no reason why gamers should know more about the sliders than they do.
DeAndre Hunter goes to Atlanta.
Yes, it's
okay.
Gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, I mean, the quarterback accuracy slider does a lot of things that you wouldn't really expect it to do. I mean, when you look at quarterback accuracy, you would assume that it just means how accurate the guy throws the ball, but it means a lot more. It also affects, what type of throws he attempts. Like, for example, if you put the quarterback accuracy all the way up to 100, it's almost as if he knows that a bad throw will affect his completion percentage to the point where he doesn't really take chances down the field. There's things like that. Then you have the running back blocking, which doesn't just affect the targeting of, the person they're going to block, but it also affects the AI. So you have that. Wide receiver catching, I think, might just be how often they catch versus drop the ball, but it does affect, it affects the animations that they get, wins, losses, in 2-minute animation. So, what else we got? Pass coverage. That's a big one. Pass coverage and reaction time. Me, DJ, Charter, I mean, just name a whole bunch of people. We've all tinkered with this at some point. And what we've all kind of come to the conclusion is that, it seems like the lower the slider is, the better the coverage.
That's what I'm about to say. There's a lot of sliders that people don't know about. Some of them are backwards, and they're backwards from game. Like, it could be backwards in 17, then they turn around and be right in 18, and then they go back in 19. Not saying those particular games, but there are some games where they go back and forth within the yearly title.
You alerted me to the 0 for tackling. That was amazing one year.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
When you put tackling to 0.
Yeah, because when you lower that slider, the less can animations or 2-man sequences that you get for the tackling, the more it's more physics-based tackling.
And ratings-based, even.
Right. And Charto 4 right here in the chat says limited number of sliders and the lack of explanation from EA has been so frustrating. And that's what and for him, listen, a lot of y'all may not know. I mean, this was even before I knew Bills and DJ.
Mm-hmm.
I remember back in the day before I knew y'all, Charter 04 used to be on OS doing sliders years before I even got into learning about the Sim standard. That's how long I've known Charter 4 to be doing sliders. It's been a long time that he's been doing. So he's really the expert on this stuff, way better than we are.
Yeah.
I mean, this was before I knew about versus sliders. Who else used to do some? Gerard 21.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know. Charter probably know if Gerard's still around, but that's how long it's been. It's been a long time.
Yeah. So I mean, the 0 with tackling also affected the pursuit angles, oddly enough. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, what else did they have? They had the.
I mean, I don't even want to talk about the. He said Gerard's still around. Okay, I don't even want to talk about the penalty sliders. Those are all way out of whack.
Well, how about this? If you put the pass blocking down to 0 at certain times, you get the most organic pocket you'll ever see.
Yep.
Yeah, in certain games, yeah.
It's like
the thing about it, they switch up from game to game. It's like I don't understand how sliders flip from game to game. That's like I don't know what they do when they're programming the game. It's just amazing. I don't get it.
But I'll say this.
I want to know why both of your guys' thoughts on why you think the devs don't explain it.
I'll let DJ go first.
Hold on. Jada says he's no expert. He was just dumb enough to spend way too much time fiddling with it.
Hey, trust me, I feel the same way about just like how much time I spend playing with the sliders. It's ridiculous.
So what do you think? Why do you think the devs don't talk about this stuff?
Because they haven't done any research. They haven't asked any questions as far as people who developed on the game in the past. I'm like, the reason why it has legacy issues is because it still has legacy code in there. And the people that wrote that code are long gone, but are still available to ask those questions. And it's one of those things where if you want to know how to undo something that's there, and you didn't write that code, then it's best to ask that person that wrote that code so you can learn the base of it. Somebody coined the phrase, it's like putting sugar on top of shit. So it's one of those things where it's just like they're trying to rip old code out of the game, but they don't know what it's doing, and by either ripping or keeping that old code and trying to add new code, it's conflicting, and you get the glitches, you get the sometimes insane gameplay botches that happen that you see in these clips either on YouTube or on Twitter, and it's going to constantly conflict until the old code is gone. And in order to do that, they're gonna from there. If once they strip that old code, they won't have anything as a base to work with.
Yeah, I agree. Charter said he don't think they really 100% know what they do, so they can't really explain them. What are your thoughts?
That's true. Yeah, right. That's true because they don't know. I believe they don't know because they haven't taken the time to ask. I know Clint did one thing, but it was as far as the ratings. It didn't have anything to do with what the sliders do and stuff like that. And to have somebody say, "Oh, they're self-explanatory," is not an answer.
Wait a minute.
Not an answer at all.
The Cavs just picked up Darius Garland, point guard out of Vanderbilt. So what is Colin Sexton?
Garland could probably play the two.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're sold on. Yeah, but I don't know if they're sold on. Also, I don't know if they're sold on Sexton being their point guard. But I think the best answer I can give is the fact that other teams wanted Garland, and I think that they're going to trade him to another team ultimately because I was reading about that. Okay. They said that teams were trying to trade up and get Garland, so I think they drafted him for another team. They're just trying to work the rest of the Kings out.
Yo, who's that kid that gave Garland his hat when he walked up to the stage? Yo, that's so dope. It was like one little small kid. He's passing out hats to everybody who gets drafted.
That's actually really dope.
Yeah, he has like the best job tonight.
that's pretty dope.
Best job tonight. But anyway, do you think, like, let's say this gen or next gen, you think they will ever get, an explanation on, or they're just going to constantly just leave it up to guys like you or Charter or Gerard or Versus or whoever? You think they're just going to leave it up to them and never talk about them?
Well, I mean, the thing is,
because I'm going to tell you, because like Charter done a phenomenal job with 25 and 17. If anything, I would think they can actually learn something from them.
Well, here's the thing. It goes hand in hand with the ratings. I mean, let's be honest. I sat there last year when Madden 19 came out and directly tagged the devs several times in tweets about why aren't the quarterbacks scrambling? Why aren't the quarterbacks scrambling? I have to go in and fix this myself. I went in and made a roster myself and basically went in and adjusted every single quarterback's traits. I adjusted their awareness, which a lot of people don't even get what the awareness rating means for quarterbacks. They don't. You would think the awareness is about aware of where you are in the field, aware of where every player is on the field, and that's not what it's about. It's actually much more complex than that because it'll actually be the difference between them throwing the ball away and throwing it into traffic.
Right.
Which is crazy. So it's like they don't get what the ratings do, and they don't get what the sliders do.
We forgot. Neff does sliders as well. I totally forgot about that.
I forgot about that, yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, so they're trying to make the game so that it plays good on, default sliders. That's fine. But you also need to learn what the sliders do, so when we bring up shit like, hey, the zero theory, y'all don't just shrug it off and say, oh, well, there's no way that should work. Okay, well, go and test it out and let us know what you find. You're not going to let us know what you find because you'll realize that it does work, and then you'll go in and a patch, you'll break it, which they did last year.
Right, and
everybody was talking zero theory,
right,
and then
and in some cases they probably could just like whatever slider they need to change, they can tweak the sliders and just make it permanent.
yeah. So I don't think they're focused on the sliders right now, which is fine. But much like they overhauled the rating system, eventually they're going to have to overhaul the slider system.
You know the funny thing about the rating system, wasn't it one year? I don't know if it was UVF or U Bills that did a roster that lowered everybody's ratings, and the gameplay was
last year.
I know Bills did one, but somebody else did one too.
Yeah, I forgot.
Right, and they lowered everybody's ratings across the board. And it's funny that this year in Madden, that's what they decided to do with the ratings, was to lower everybody's ratings across the board and create that separation a little bit more. Matter of fact, I remember I did it specifically for certain positions. I was just like, okay, who are my elite receivers? Well, they'll only have, and I narrowed it down to just if they're an elite receiver and they're spectacular catching. And I was like,
I spoke to you last year about that at length.
I never understood why, like with NCAA, everything with NCAA was so straightforward. It was so much easier to deal with, ratings on NCAA or sliders on NCAA. You never hear nobody having a real problem with sliders on that game.
You know what it was?
Madden had the problem.
You know what it was? They were tailoring their game to a different demographic. There were much more hardcore football fans playing NCAA than there are playing Madden.
Now I can believe that. I totally believe that. Because NCAA, Madden was a religion when it came to, just playing the game. NCAA was a religion because people wanted to play football.
Mm-hmm.
They literally wanted to take their particular college and actually play football. And I think that's one reason why it was actually more is missed, because a lot of people, when you went to NCAA and played NCAA, a lot of people didn't play with the elite colleges. They played with the teams that the school they went to.
Yeah.
So most people were tailored to trying to play that style of football based on their team compared to Madden. It's like, okay, who's the hot player in Madden right now? Okay, Russell Wilson and them just won a Super Bowl. I want to play with the Legion of Boom. It was totally different. So I totally agree.
And that's the thing. It's like, when we talk about ratings, I mean, ratings are important too. Ratings, I would argue, are more important than the game. If you are that much into the game playing, as sim as possible, and you have the time to make a roster, you could probably end up playing the game on default sliders. But it takes so much time to do that. It's not like 2K. Like I spoke to you about 2K, and I said 2K's system, as far as how to edit players, is so much better because you can go in and just basically hit quick edit, and you can edit ratings for every player just at the same time with one click. Just every player in mass on each team. So when you can't do that on Madden, you have to go into everybody's specific page. It's just it's time consuming. Then you have to figure out the thresholds for what's the highest spectacular catch and what's the highest quarterback accuracy and what's the highest. I did all this stuff last year. It was frustrating. And the game turned out to play, pretty good. It played the way it should have played at launch, but then they put an update out and it ruined it.
That's pretty interesting. What's going on, everybody who came in? Young, Noble, Ravens Nation. Appreciate you guys coming through. Chardo 4 said NCAA games were still as tough as far as sliders, better than Madden, but they still didn't work as they were supposed to. I will be honest. I made a slider set for NCAA 14, and it was a little tedious because I didn't get it down until maybe like 2015, like 2 years after it came
I think the issue with them is they had more sliders.
Yeah, I think they had no. The thing with NCAA, their sliders were more streamlined. Like with Madden, I think this year or 17 or 16 was the first year where they didn't I can't say the word, compartmentalize each one, because I think with Madden it used to be 3, 3, 3, and 3. Now it's one straight line with everything was like one area. With NCAA it was the same way. Everything was just one straight line. Everything was streamlined. It wasn't just because I think Charter could talk about. I know at least with Madden 12, it was like they had to equal up to a certain amount of numbers, like 25, 75, 25 to do something.
But here's another thing. Whatchamacallit? On NCAA.
On
the Bulls on the clock. The other thing was On NCAA, there was a rating for offense and defense separately.
Right.
So you could play offense on Heisman, and then you can play the other one on All-American, which was kind of interesting. I don't really know.
Yeah, it was weird to do that.
Yeah, it was very
if I hear
weird.
my son in the background, he's up here next to the mic, so you probably hear him talking because he's up on my lap right now.
Oh wow! So
South Carolina.
Just real quick, Jarrett Culver got drafted. There's a proposed trade to Minnesota, which means I think Andrew Wiggins might be headed somewhere.
I wouldn't be surprised. Wiggins.
He might be headed to the Bulls, believe it or not.
Oh, Lord.
But anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, the other important slider that people need to pay attention to is the speed parity slider.
I leave that on 0. I just leave it on 0.
Well, see, the thing with putting it at 0 that I've noticed is that it has in past years it's created too many big plays. And
with Madden, yes, I can agree with that.
It's created way too many just big plays, and the fast players are like so much faster than the slower players. It's like kind of ridiculous.
I know with 17 it works pretty good, but I've seen it in other Maddens where it was way off.
Well, friend of the podcast, Hollywood Sports. He
gotta watch it.
He asked. Oh, here we go. So he asked the question. He asked the question of why the speed parity slider is in the game, and I said, well, it's because they haven't figured out how to put the AI in there and get their movement system to the point where they didn't need it, which I think is true.
Right.
It's when you need a speed parity rating, it's because the movement system and the AI isn't such that they can meet a guy at a spot the way football is supposed to be. Everybody's not the same speed on a football field. But yeah.
Neff said that's why he stripped the ratings down to 0 and recreate every single player from scratch and separate pro, average, and poor player.
That's so time consuming, though. It's a good idea, but it's so time consuming.
Very interesting. I mean, I never used Neff sliders, but I'm curious to see how that played out.
I do it on 2K. I don't put it at 0, but I do assess every single player on 2K. But it's like I said, it's so much quicker on 2K.
Yeah, I've used Neff sliders before. Yeah, those are legit when he does it that way. Yeah,
I've seen a lot of people think they talk very highly of the sliders. I never used them. But the thing with 2K is on the flip side of 2K, they don't necessarily explain their sliders up front, but they tell you off the rip, like they have different sliders for how you want to play. Arcade, simulation, casual. You can go ahead and you can just change it, and the sliders actually change. So that's their way explanation of their sliders, and it works.
And if you ask a question, they actually do know what the hell it means.
Right.
Which is a positive.
Chris Thomas says, yeah, I don't mess with their sliders for some odd reason. I would like to see more of that in what it is. LSG. I don't know what that means. Anybody know what that means?
Leagues, I think.
Leagues, okay. Neff said, yeah, the rosters and sliders combined. Okay. You trying to tell everybody what's going on?
He's like, go South Carolina.
He's like, tell those Twitter trolls to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I agree with that. There you go, Bills.
But
anything to add with the sliders?
Well, I will say this also. This year was the first time I played as close to default as possible without really having to tinker or anything. It was Madden 20, so that was a bit encouraging.
Okay.
I haven't touched the quarterback accuracy at all.
I don't think you need to. I think they nailed it with this one with the throwing animations. If you learn your quarterback's throwing animations and know the timing of their throws, you will be successful at actually throwing the ball. Not necessarily completing passes and doing all this other stuff, but you'll be successful where the ball won't go all over the place unless you're trying to do something extra to get somebody open or you're trying to throw it away where nobody else can get it. But other than that, you're good. They're good with that. Anything else you got, DJ?
I really don't have anything else. I'm like, this is a topic that I think we've added something a little bit different to this time, but I know we've talked about it in the past. And I think until they figure out, what's in their game as the base.
Oh, good pick.
Coding wise, these sliders are going to be all over the place as far as like different explanations. And, you know, even though the three of us have come to a common conclusion about the sliders, Charter, Neff, versus everybody who's taking the time to do sliders. Honestly, I find myself doing more sliders and more deeper sliders because there are a lot more available in NHL series. So just experimenting with those is just like you can visualize what if these sliders were Madden. A lot of those sliders that are in NHL seem like they're hidden in Madden. Like only the developers can adjust those, especially with the stumble and fall threshold and stuff. When they first introduced that back into the game, you know, they can adjust that on their end, but we can't adjust it in Madden, but we can adjust it in NHL right now, which is kind of crazy.
I'm glad you said that because I wanted to touch on NHL 20. That's one of our topics. So, and I want you to lead on that because you're the one that showed us the article, which I don't think I still have up right now. But if I do, I really want to pull that up so people can see how amazing that this game.
I'm low key disappointed about that game. Anything I say about it is gonna be negative. I'll tell you straight off the bat.
Yeah, Bills and I talked about it yesterday, and we were just like, first the trailer was underwhelming. It wasn't something that got me excited. You could see some certain things, but it didn't really. Of course, I would count it as a teaser trailer more than less than a fleshed out trailer. So it showed you a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
My main thing was I was looking at what they did with the franchise mode stuff. That's what got me going. But let people know what's going on with the game in general because I don't know all the way.
Okay, well, the game's going to release about September 13th. So that's going to be on all the platforms except for PC thus far.
I thought they said September 3rd. Well, no, never mind. Go ahead.
No, 13th.
Yeah, it is Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, September 13th. One of the main things that is funny because I know Detroit was talking about signature animations and stuff like that. One of the things they did lead with is that they're going to have improved signature shots for the NHL superstars. So, you know, a player like Alex Ovechkin will have his signature one-timer animation, usually from the left slot that he usually triggers that from. The cover guy, Austin Matthews, is going to have his little toe drag and shot release. I don't know if you guys can follow along with just what I just said, but it's going to have his signature release, his shot release there. Let's see, signature shot for NHL superstars. And then they're adding a host of contextual shot animations. And I think the headline on there is like Unleash the Snipers. So there's going to be a lot of things that it seems like they're cleaning up as far as the offense is concerned. They're talking about improved goaltenders. The AI is going to be a little bit more aware of threats, offensive threats, not just the primary offensive threat, but the secondary offensive threat. And they're also adding in 400 new save animations. So it's supposed to be there to counter the signature shot animations and also the cheap goals that, you know, people were getting last year, little softies here and there. And then they've added the chest, what do they call it? The chest covers.
Okay.
Where like the goaltender, he gets the shot, hits him in the chest, and he takes the glove and the stick, or he just takes the glove and just covers the puck right then and there and can stop the play, which led to a lot of rebound goals last year because they didn't have that animation in the game. So, let me see. They talk about new team celebrations. One big thing that they are doing, I know, they got rid of the NBC, the CSN broadcasting package, the license. They've gotten rid of it.
Okay, so what?
So
they're on a sports thing again?
Well, no. From the looks of it, the signature when they're just entering game, they're now able to be a little bit more creative with it. It actually looks kind of nice.
Okay.
According to what I'm seeing in this article. And what is it? They're going to have new commentators. Well, one's going to elevate from the ice level, rink level to the booth, but they're gonna add a local guy. So gone are Eddie Olczyk and Doc Emmerich. And what they're gonna be able to do, one of the biggest problems with the commentary in NHL was the fact that they could only record about 30 hours. So with this new commentary duo of Ray Ferraro and James Cebulski,
I'm gonna let you.
He's a local guy in Vancouver, radio personality. So people up there know him, but the rest of us not familiar with him. They're able to record 10 times the amount, and they're actually going to take a page out of Madden's playbook and be able to record new lines throughout the season. So we got this is kind of like the first evidence of a crossover in sharing technology. So about time we kind of hear about something like that.
All right, I'm gonna let you keep talking, DJ. I'm gonna take my son downstairs. He's getting sleepy.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna let him go ahead and get ready for bed. I'll be right back.
Now here's another thing that was interesting. They're gonna take a page out of NBA 2K's playbook and have guest commentators. So names that popped up, it said hockey personalities. They're talking about Don Cherry, Wayne Gretzky, but then they said celebrities like Chance the Rapper and Drake. So I wonder how that's going to play out, especially with Drake.
I don't get the
I've never seen him at a hockey game to save his life.
I don't get the Chance the Rapper one. I'm a Chance the Rapper fan, but
I would think Lil Jon, because he was at the Vegas Golden Knights games a lot, and he was definitely there for the Stanley Cup Finals last year.
I was thinking maybe racist ass Mark Wahlberg, but whatever.
Gosh. Shoot, that whole team. Boston, that Boston fan base.
Boston City. But yeah, I mean, overall, they didn't fix what I wanted to be fixed, so I just I'm kind of underwhelmed. They didn't overhaul defensive AI, so
yeah, that was the big downer. They to counter all this, they definitely need to fix the defensive AI and overhaul it, because it's just like now how is the defense going to react to these contextual shots and signature animations? Only the goaltender seems like is going to be able to react to those a lot better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now the two things, and I know Sim F-Ball did a video on mainly this one big thing that comes to the franchise mode, but there's there's three things coming to the franchise mode. I know I like these additions. The first one is the coaching carousel. And a lot of people have been screaming for this in Madden. And even though the game is not going to have licensed coaches, they're going to have 300 fictitious coaches, all with unique ability, attributes, specialties, and even schemes. Now, with that being said, they still have the same strategy system that they're saying they didn't really work on that much. So I'm excited to see that there are 300 different fictitious coaches with their own scheme, but I often want to see certain strategies fleshed out. And this is where like your defensive AI needs to be overhauled. Your teammate AI needs to be overhauled a little bit too.
All I can hope for is that they at least worked on the defensive AI to the point where, because this guy said he didn't play the game much. So I just hope that at least we see changes to the defensive AI. Even if it's not completely overhauled, just serviceable enough to where it's better than this year, because this year was a bit of a pain. Especially when you're trying to play 20-minute periods, it becomes a bit of a pain. So.
And believe me, I've worked on sliders to the point where I can play a 20-minute game and get actual good stats. And NHL is not a clean game. It's a sloppy game. People run into each other. They knock each other over. Possession is always loose. So one of the things that I definitely was disappointed that they did not work on was the board play. That seems like that's an easy fix, because I was able to through my sliders, I was able to make board play more organic. It shouldn't be like a 2-man or a 3-man animation. It should be something, because the puck is stuck up against the boards. You got people that add on, they're pushing, they're jostling for position, they're trying to, like, whack at the puck, and it's just one of those things where you just have to pray that you're able to get it out of there.
But here's my thing: how you have physics on everything but the board play? It's kind of fun to think about.
Yeah, that's why I did what I did as far as the sliders. But the next thing that they added in the franchise mode was a new line chemistry system. Now, they've had this before in past NHLs, but they brought it back. So this is another thing that I'm like, because Madden has the morale system, but it's not really about chemistry. I'm like, the only thing they seem like they have a chemistry system going is with the O-line, and that's it. But with the new line system, now it's just, I don't know if it's going to replace the whole, because I really didn't like the whole personality and, locker room interactions, because it was kind of like a total guessing game. But now that you can see a line chemistry, you can actually work with that a little bit better. And they're adding a trade finder.
So they got trade finder. Yeah, that's good. And they have the what's the other one? Coaching carousel too.
Yeah, that while you're away, we brought that up.
Talk about that. Okay.
But here's an interesting. Oh, go ahead.
And I was gonna say, I'm gonna say what the Save 65 folks say with Madden. None of that shit matters because they ain't overhaul that damn defensive AI.
You're right. I'm like, and that was one of the things I was hoping that they would touch, because I'm tired of the defense reacting to stuff. Either they sell out or they don't do anything. Yeah. I hate that black or white type of AI. I need AI that's able to. I'm like, it does have dynamic AI, but still, it's either sell out or keep it close to the vest and not do anything.
It's kind of the issue that Pez had a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's an interesting thing, because NHL is going to enter the Battle Royale mode. Okay. And basically, they have a new mode called what is it called? The Eliminator? Yeah, it's called Eliminator. So it's supposed to be, let's see, it can either be played in 1s or 3s. And basically, if you do 1s, you'll be playing along with 81 other players. And it's like the first player that wins 4 matches is crowned the champion. And it says each time you're eliminated, you can drop right back into another match in the first 4 ranks. DJ, so I really don't know how that's going to play, but I thought that was kind of interesting.
Your team picked some power forward out of Gonzaga.
First Japanese.
Yeah, I'm about to say Japanese, that looked Japanese.
Yeah, it says first Japanese pick ever, I think.
I don't think Wizards fans were expecting that.
Yeah, I don't know. He looks pretty.
What the Twitter reaction is.
Oh no, he looks
were
pretty
talking
good.
about they were talking about like other players that the Wizards were going to pick, and
they're comparing him to Kawhi.
Well, one person already responded in all caps. What are the Wizards doing?
hey, you know what? They don't need to be that damn fan base the way the Knicks were about Kristaps. Just hold off. He was the number 1 small forward in the country last year, and he's going to come and play power forward in the league, which means he's versatile. I would hold off on that.
Well, I guess people wanted Cam Reddish.
Why? So they can go to that little 3-point style that they wanted? I think a lot of people are. I think a lot of people are fascinated by that style of play. That's why people are like high on Cam Reddish.
No, he's good, but I mean, I just know how the Wizards are going to use him, and that's how they're going to use him.
Right.
Well, overall, I think NHL 20 is going to be a good game when it releases. I definitely will be getting that game, but I can't but help that they did really touch the defensive AI and kept the strategies pretty much the same. I'm like, there were a couple of defenses that I seen employed by the Washington Capitals in their Stanley Cup run last year where it was different than what's already there. So we'll see.
Funny though, I talked to DJ about this yesterday, and I said, isn't that something they should be working on every year regardless?
You would think.
Yeah, like I always talk about balancing games.
Yeah, every sports game, year in, year out, should work to get their defensive and offensive AI to the best spot it can be in. I mean, I don't know, man.
I don't know. Anything else you want to add to NHL 20? Me personally, listen, I'm here for the NHL games. Ever since NHL, I've been playing 18, but I went back to play 14. They got me sold. Me personally, even with the issues that we're talking about, they got my money. NHL's always been good enough for me. It's been good enough for me for the past 3 years for me to be a day one purchase. So,
and they're still going to have the level of sliders to be able to adjust this game to your liking. So that's always been the saving grace.
It'd be nice. The fact that
you can choose a tuner set too.
Not only that, man. My main thing is, I ain't gonna say my main thing, but one thing that impresses me that NHL gives the user that may not know nothing about the sport, they give you the tools and they explain things to you to learn about the sport. There's not many games that do that now, and I'm highly impressed with that.
You know what? I would honestly, if they had a defensive and offensive awareness slider, I would say all is forgotten with them not overhauling the defensive AI. But they don't. So I mean, like 2K for example, they have horrible AI at times on defense. But I just kind of tinker with the defensive awareness slider, and I get it back to where it should be. So.
Last topic. Anthony Davis goes to the Lakers with LeBron James. Initial thoughts and how far you think these guys could go within the next 2-3 years. Any one of y'all can go first.
I guess I'll go. I think it's a ring coming, bro. I honestly think it's a championship coming. I think they're gonna convince Anthony Davis to surrender that $4 million that he would get if the trade goes through, when the trade goes through, and I think they're gonna sign another free agent that adds something to that team that they really need, which is a bridging point between LeBron and Anthony Davis. I think they need somebody in the middle of that. So I think there's a ring coming. The NBA is wide open, at least for next year. I don't think Kevin Durant's going to sign with the Warriors. I think that trade exception thing, I think that sign and trade thing has some legitimacy to it. So I don't think the Warriors are going to be getting Kevin Durant back. And I'm not totally sold that Klay is staying in Golden State until he resigns. So I think the league is wide open, and I think the Lakers, if they sign Kemba or whoever they're going to sign as that third guy, I think they are my favorite to win it all next year.
Okay. What about you, DJ? What you think?
I'm not gonna say a ring is in their future just yet. It, like Bill, like you just said, it's really gonna depend on who they sign and then who's gonna be their depth players, because you can have that third superstar on the team or star on the team, but if you don't have a bench, as we just saw in the NBA Finals, you don't have depth. They can really bite you in the ass when it gets down to it. So,
yeah, but I think the one thing is that they have that one player that kind of destroys that. Unfortunately for the rest of the league, I think LeBron is one of those guys that, like, he's one of the few guys in the league. It's like, oh, your team has depth. Who cares? I'll just play 40 minutes, and whoever guards me.
Hurt a little bit this year, so
yeah, he did. But yeah.
He's still a great player.
Yeah, he's a great player.
You gotta keep that in mind.
Yeah,
I would be surprised if you see that type of LeBron still playing in the NBA.
No, it's not going to be during the year. It's going to be in the playoffs. I mean, he's been doing this. He's been saving himself.
Even in the playoffs, I would be surprised. I'm not saying that's not going to happen, but I'd be surprised. My thoughts is not the problem with LeBron. I think LeBron's still going to put up his numbers. I'm still trying to get adjusted to AD, not just his injury situation, but his mindset. I'm not sure if we're dealing with a guy that's locked in to take it to the next level like LeBron is. Maybe LeBron will pull him up to that level, but when you saw LeBron win championships, you saw Cam Reddish went to the Hawks. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was gonna pick Bol. But anyway, when you see when LeBron brought players along with them, they had that mentality that not only want to follow, they wanted to step up as well. Not saying AD can't I'm not saying that he can't step up. It's just something about him this particular season just makes me think that you're probably getting a situation where you have a Dwight Howard type of demeanor, where it's like there, I'm going to play, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. I'm not sure if I want to take it to that next level. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think he just didn't want to play there.
Yeah, you might be right, but it's like
look at what they did to Portland the year before that, and they were underdogs. They swept them.
Yeah.
I mean,
is you going to get that AD or you going to get this one? Because it's like, I don't know, because I just don't know who we're dealing with. I don't trust them personally. But I mean, LeBron, I think LeBron's going to be fine as long as he's not injured or anything like that. He's going to always give you 27.
What? Did this dude Chauncey Billups compare Cam Reddish to Paul George? All right, I think I'm done watching this draft.
I've just had it on the website. I haven't even.
Oh my god!
But I like what the Hawks are doing. They're doing some really good things right now. I don't think Cam's gonna play the 3 though.
I think he will.
You think so? So
yeah.
where's the other Hunter's going?
Hunter, he could probably play the 4.
Okay, so where's John Collins going?
The center. They're gonna play. They're gonna run a small lineup.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can see it, but I don't. I mean, because who's their shooting guard right now?
Fucking Kevin Huerter.
Yeah, no.
Hold on. Bazemore was hurt this year, so
I don't even want to talk about that guy.
Oh, yeah. Well.
But I can see him playing the 2. Huerter's not bad. He really is.
What if y'all sign Chris Middleton?
All right, let's talk about something else.
What? Hold on. No. You're not just gonna throw that shade at Chris Middleton.
No, I'm not, man. I'm not. It's just a little complicated.
Well,
you gotta crawl before you can.
In the playoffs,
yeah, you're right.
Did have a couple of questionable possessions.
It's a little convoluted. That's all. The team, I see what they're doing. It's just a little convoluted. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not a Hawks fan per se. I mean, I follow them because they're somewhat the home team. It's just that the Hawks always had this issue with having a lot of players at one position, and I'm kind of worried about they're trying to do that again. It's just a little convoluted right now. But I don't know. What do I know? Like I said, I think it's going to work. A ring in maybe next year's, season. Yeah, I can see that. First year, probably not. But I like what the Lakers are doing. We also see. I don't know if y'all saw this, but I've heard that on Twitter that Magic Johnson talking about he wants to come back and work.
Man, look,
you didn't see that? You didn't see that on Twitter?
Man, listen.
I'm dead serious. Like he said he wanted to come back and work.
Bro,
where?
With the Lakers.
Fuck you, man.
Why,
bro?
What's the source for this?
No, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna pull it up. It's right here. Let me see if I can share this real quick.
Yeah,
so I can see this.
That's because we already had a fake tweet go out there involving Brett Favre.
All right, what?
What? Hold on a second.
Y'all see that? Saying Magic Johnson, now that he preyed on it, wants to keep working with the Lakers in some capacity. How he tried to take some credit for the Anthony Davis trade.
Why is this nigga over here kowtowing to Rob Pelinka talking about great trade, Rob Pelinka, job well done? That was 5 days ago. He was just dragging that man's name through the mud on first take. You know,
He's trying to come back and take credit, yo.
Something's fishy about this, fam.
I just wanted to.
How you gonna be in the press conference like I'm not gonna be there and shit laughing? That's the face he has in the picture when he said it.
Right.
I'm not gonna be there. So it's like, come on, bro.
Well, the Rockets just revealed their new uniforms. That's pretty nice.
I mean, the uniforms ain't gonna mean shit when Chris Paul's gonna throw the ball at James Harden.
These look very nice.
Are they really beefing or what?
I think they are. I think they're trying to suppress it, but I think they're truly beefing.
I mean, I don't
like. Wait, what? They don't even look new.
I never liked them two playing together to begin with. They're too headstrong.
I said it too. I said, well, they both need the ball. I think that's
what I'm saying. That's what I mean by that. You know, I'm surprised it worked this long, honestly.
Yeah, because they won it. They weren't off talent. You know,
right? Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. Whatchamacallit is definitely gone.
Who that?
Wiggins.
Oh, who they picked?
Minnesota picked Cam Johnson from North Carolina. He's a team that was cooking Duke in the tournament.
Yeah. Cameron Johnson is nice.
He's a monster. Right.
So they got two small forwards, or they got a shoot.
He's getting traded to Phoenix, they said. So, but I still think that the Wiggins is going.
That's still good for Phoenix, though. I mean, that's a nice guy to be with Devin Booker.
Oh no doubt. But I mean, here's my question: how many damn small forwards y'all gonna draft before you get it right? Josh Jackson was a lottery pick.
Yeah.
They just traded Ty Warren.
Yeah.
Ty Warren was a high pick. It's like, goodness gracious, Phoenix. I mean, you need a point guard. That's what you need. But whatever.
Oh, WTFOS just made an appearance on Twitter. That's good.
Yeah, I saw he's talking about he's gonna use the Hawks in franchise.
You know what? Low key, I might do that too. Don't
do that. Don't do that.
Man, just for shits and giggles. I might
do that. You better pick the Bulls and just
have fun.
I better stay in my corner.
Don't do that. Yeah, don't call them trash young, and then a year later you're gonna come back and man.
I might have to do that when y'all ain't looking, man.
And don't pick the Bulls and try to trade for Trae Young either. Don't do that.
That's one thing I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do that now.
Do that either, man.
But yeah, I might have to stay in my corner, man, and don't even touch the Hawks. I talk mad shit, man.
Put him in a game, say Chris Paul don't get along with nobody. Ain't that the fucking truth?
Right.
I can't think of one player that used to play with him that fucks with him. There's only a select group of people that like him, and it's basically his friends that he's known since before he got in the league. LeBron and Wade and Carmelo. Nobody else really fucks with him.
Right.
Didn't the Suns just pick up Sarge? Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
But that doesn't really affect what they just did.
What position Sarge play again?
A power forward.
Oh, they good. Yeah.
I don't think he can play center. They are getting some really nice young pieces. I don't know if they're gonna try to go after Kemba in the offseason.
If they do, they're not gonna get him.
Nah, I think he ends up in a bigger market.
Yeah, I'll say if they do, they're not gonna get him. I mean, don't get me wrong, it'll be a great fit, but they're not.
I mean, but that's the thing, man. It's like that's why I say that there's no parity in the NBA, because truth be told, if some of these players went to these smaller markets, there would be so much more parity when a free agency like this pops up, a great free agency.
You see, this is what I was talking about. I mean, I understand, don't get me wrong. I understand why guys want to play with each other. Like in the NBA, they basically give them more power over their Yeah, shut up. They give them more power and more say as players, and that's cool. But when the season starts, you kind of got an idea who's going the top 4 or 5 teams is going to be.
I think they don't. I think a lot of these guys are doing this to the benefit of the league. Because the thing is, all sports leagues, the major leagues, do the best when their most prestigious franchises are thriving.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So,
but like the competitor in me, in the sports guy in me, I like it when you have, maybe 70 to 80% of the teams actually can bid or actually can compete because you don't know what's going to happen. I think that's why
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's why the NFL has, strived so well, because it's like you don't know. I mean, because it's like the flip to it. It's like in the NBA, you have like your top markets, or you have like 4 or 5 teams that are actually good. The NFL, you got like the top, the low 4 or 5 that that's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, and Major League Baseball is even worse because two things. I mean, the years that they're good teams and prestigious teams are really bad, the ratings are down. And on top of that, the teams that are the bottom feeders of the league are really bad, like historically bad when they're bad. I mean, you go back to when the Indians were really bad, when the Royals were really bad. I mean, they're like historically. I'm talking like some of the worst seasons for any major sport. It's like
record breaking teams that are winning like 40, 50 games.
Right. It's like we've seen some anomalies in the NBA. You have the Nets that were really bad for a couple of years, but God, I mean, some of those major league teams. I mean, the White Sox had some really bad years, and really, it's like 10 teams per year in major leagues that just suck. They're just not good, like at all. Like they have no redeeming qualities, and they always make it where, one player from each team has to be an all-star. I mean, some years they really struggle to pick that guy.
Right.
I mean, remember the Blue Jays days where Roy Halladay was literally it? That was it.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Roy Halladay and who else? I mean, come on, the Padres. I mean, come on. It's just like it's crazy.
They had nobody one year. That was crazy.
Literally nobody. They had to dig and get like some middle reliever from their bench and say, "Yeah, we're gonna be an all-stars here." It's like, come on.
Right. It's just like I said, this not just with basketball, like any sport. Like you get, I believe you get more, not really like a lot of casual fans that want to be hardcore fans when you have that type of parity. Because like, say for instance, if you have like the Atlanta Hawks, they can be a contender. Like you have a lot of guys who are just casual in Atlanta that just watch basketball. They want to be a diehard basketball fan. They want to get involved. Like my wife. My wife has had no intentions of like looking at basketball, but once she noticed when I took her to a game and she watched the Hawks, and then on the flip side of that, the Hawks became actually pretty decent. They went deep in the playoffs that one year. She was actually trying to learn the sport and learn the players and stuff. I think that's good for the league because you get more people watching, more people want to buy jerseys, more people want to go to games, more people are talking about it. So unlike like you have like the NBA when you had like the Cavs and the Golden State Warriors, like the people that are already diehard are like, okay, we're gonna wait till the finals.
My other thing is though, I know folks talk a lot about how they don't like these players, teaming up. Look at the landscape in soccer. The greatest player of all time, perhaps, just straight out said, "I want to play with Neymar, not Griezmann."
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So Lionel Messi plays for Barcelona. Barcelona is one of the biggest sports clubs in the world, biggest soccer clubs in the world. Neymar is probably the most famous Brazilian soccer. Well, I would say probably he's the most famous Brazilian soccer player now. Pele is probably the most familiar and notable of all time, but whatever. He's a really familiar soccer player. Probably the 4th best in the world. Okay, so Messi wants to play with Neymar. The best player in the world is saying that. He wants to play with another great player. So why do folks stress in the NBA? It's just because they pay attention to the NBA and they don't pay attention to these other sports. It's like great players want to play with other great players. It happens. Michael Jordan didn't say, "No, don't draft Scottie Pippen." And when he got good, he didn't say, "Well, trade him. I don't want to play with him. I want to challenge myself." No, that's not how it works. Right. Great players want to play with great players. How it happens and how it comes together is irrelevant.
And I think that's one thing that's a turnoff for the NBA. Before we close out the podcast, I think that's one thing about the NBA. It's a little more blatant than it was before.
Yeah,
because back then, players wanted to play those great players, but you had a lot of GMs that actually had a handle on things, and they wanted to keep their players. So it was a little bit more spread out than now. It's like where, like you said on Twitter, when you said the rabbit's got the gun, these guys have more say. Like, look, I want my players to do this, that, and the third. And you don't have too many strong coaches like you did back in the day. Some coaches, it wouldn't even go up to the front office.
You can also blame social media and
some coaches would be like, "No, this is our team. This is how it's going to be," and the players will follow. Now it's more the coaches aren't as tough as they used to be.
But you could also blame social media and the evolution of how people cover sports these days and how much, people just add that stigma of, oh, he retired without any rings. Well, he's not top 10 all the time. I mean, Charles Barkley gets that.
Right.
And,
and to be honest, I mean, as far as him on the court, that dude was a monster.
He was the best player in the league in 1993, or arguably 94 too. I mean, there was a stint where it was an argument of who was the best player in the league. It's like, yeah, Jordan's number one, but Barkley's, right there.
Yeah, he was like right behind him.
So I mean, yeah, but the thing is, it's just like I said with KD. Look at the situation with KD now. What are they looking back at and saying? He's a 2-time MVP. They're now calling him the best player in the world. They don't even think about the fact that he went to Golden State. There's like a small sect of people. Oh, he signed with Golden State and can't beat him, join him. But really, what people are thinking about is, well, he's a 2-time champion.
This is the flip side of the KD situation. I get you can't beat him, join him thing, but the fact that, and I think I said this before, it's not even the fact that he went there. He went there and you can make a case that he took over that team to make it his team.
And
it wasn't like he was there for the ride and Steph and Clay carried him. It's like he actually did. He was like the reason why they basically won those two.
And I'll continue to tell people, the Thunder beat that same Golden State team. Yeah. So let's not pretend like, oh, he lost 3 times and now he's just going to give up. That's not what happened. The Thunder beat him. Golden State got better. They beat him. He said, okay, I'm leaving this toxic situation with Russell Westbrook. What's my best chance to win? Oh, I'll go to Golden State. Oh, who also, by the way, basically got rid of their entire bench to equal, to get me. So
I think the only person, the only persons they kept was Livingston and Iguodala.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, it's funny, man. It's like, did Golden State really look like a super team without him? Let's be honest.
No, they didn't.
So
to be honest, they didn't. I mean, like I said, it was pretty much like at some point it looked like it was the Kevin Durant show. At times. It honestly did.
That's the thing. I'm like, when I think of a super team, it's like, take one guy off. Oh shit, they still got him. They still got him. That's not Golden State. Golden State doesn't take KD off and you still got oh shit, KD's not there. Ooh,
right. But people look at it because of the 73-9 team.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I mean, you don't realize that team. For all intents and purposes, that team low-key snuck up on everybody. That style of basketball snuck up on people.
And they had injuries on the way to and I'm not taking any credit away from them. They were an amazing team. But at the same time,
they were an amazing team to lose only 9 games. But let's be honest, those guys lived and died by the 3-ball, but they lived by the 3-ball because they went in. And nobody was prepared for that style of basketball.
And let's also be honest about this. If Mike Conley didn't get injured in that first year that they won the championship, arguably that dynasty would have never been started to begin with.
I mean, let's not even talk about the Kawhi injury either.
Kawhi, Conley, Kyrie, Kevin Love. I mean, come on. The list goes on and on. So it's like, when you look at it, like I said, when I think of a super team, I think of a team, okay, if Magic gets injured, oh, shit, they could just dump the ball into Kareem. Oh, they got Worthy on the ring. Oh, shit, they got Cooper off the bench. Oh, they got Dantley off the bench, who was a scoring champ. That's a super team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A super team is a team that has 2 superstars, maybe just 1 superstar and 2 other stars, and they have a bench that's just stacked and can stand on their own.
Right.
That's a super team. A super team is not a top-heavy start lineup.
Yeah, I agree. I can agree with that. If you really want to get into actual super team, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything else you want to add, DJ? I'm out of topics. I think between this and Monday, I think we did a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shoot. Other than the fact, I was just responding to somebody that's responding to an inflammatory article about Bernie Sanders.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
If you heard the little clickety clack of the keyboard there, I had my 2 cents about that.
Oh boy, here go the heat. I swear on the board.
No, because people tend to like.
No, I'm talking about my heat on the.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because sometimes when dealing with how people deal with politics now these days, the one mention of the truth, and then everybody goes crazy because the articles add something that wasn't said by the exact person, and then that person reading the title alone gets triggered and talk about, I can't stand him now, even though you were all for him about 4 years ago. So, yeah. some people, and this is coming from somebody that was the person I responded to, is somebody that they're extreme far left. Like, I would consider them a man eater if I wanted to go there, but yeah.
Yeah. What else you got, Bills? I mean, I'm topic out for the week. I think we did a lot this week as far as
what? That's a week, man. This is gonna be
why I wasn't really speaking so much this week, because we put on a lot on Monday. So,
right, yeah.
Looking at some of the topics, I was like, just to be honest, I was just like, are we really talking about these Madden sliders again?
Here you go. Hush.
Man.
No, because I remember you sat there and said it was like, well, we're trying not to be repetitive as far as topics, and I can go back and be like, yeah, we already talked about this.
I think the reason why I put it out there was because of the fact that the devs don't say anything, not necessarily how we feel about the sliders ourselves, just that why they don't say anything, and we're basically interpreting what we think they're saying because they don't say anything about it.
Yeah.
So why? So hopefully this is the last
timing.
I don't see no reason to actually talk about them again. I just wanted to know because, I know Bills came up with a great topic about it, saying that why the devs don't say anything about it.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with the topic, honestly, because I'm sure it's going to come up again when they fuck the game up. So we're going to have to talk.
Good Lord.
we're an informative podcast. So
we try to be anyway.
But you got to think about it. I'm like, we urge people to not get into repetitive cycles. And what are we sort of kind of heading towards? And you just said it.
I'm not gonna say we headed towards it. I think we probably got it on this one, but I don't think we're headed towards that.
Nah, yeah, we're good.
Well,
this is
as long as I get this playlist at some point, maybe
you will. Maybe one day.
That'll be the repetitive content. Is every week you asking for that damn playlist, and we have not taken the playlist.
Hey man, I be saying I want to do it, man. I say I want to do it, and I never get it. I never get on.
Oh my god,
hard, man.
You got some time after this podcast.
No, I don't. I gotta work tomorrow.
Yo, this suit that Tyler here is wearing is kind of cold.
Put it together.
Yeah, I know.
You said can September hurry? Man, ain't nobody think about the NFL right now.
Yeah, not that fast. I'm good right now. We got other stuff that can happen between now and then. This is First and Framerates episode 72. I forgot to mention it earlier. Check out the link in the description. WTFOS. Like I said, we saw him on Twitter. He's actually saying something that's a good thing. But his family, him and his family lost everything in the house. I want to continue to promote that and let people know, like, if you got $1 to give, go to the GoFundMe and just give them $1, man. Help them get back on their feet. It helps. $1 helps, and that it goes a long way. I can't imagine, like I said, going through something like that. I just bought a house last year, and me losing everything, like you said, he lost like 90% of his house. I can't imagine. So check it out. If anything, shoot him a tweet and let him know that you're thinking about him. I think that'll be, just keep his spirits up. Also, you can catch us on iTunes and SoundCloud. I'm still working on the Stitcher and Spotify, so more people can listen to us. And I'm pretty much good with how the podcast turned out. Thanks, Doug Thomas. You have a good night. Thanks to everybody for coming through.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
No, Chris Thomas, he was not.
He's not OP. Anything you got? What you got, DJ?
Yeah, one last thing. Doug Flutie's Maximum Football announced that Scott Spindler, a.k.a. Riding Rosters, the guy known for doing MLB rosters on OS Sports site and stuff like that, he'll be doing 130 fictional teams in the college dynasty mode for Doug Flutie's Maximum Football. So that was announced yesterday.
I wanna wait for a little
to the guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations. That game look like is moving in the right direction. It definitely is. I'm like you said.
I gotta see gameplay.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Pooh said he wants to see gameplay. I'm with that too. But that's the next time I really want to talk about Maximum when actually see games.
Yeah.
All this other stuff they're saying, it sounds phenomenal. It really does. But I want to see what they're doing on the field. Bills, you got anything?
Shout out to the Miami Heat for giving me another reason not to watch this year.
Yeah, man, they picked up the shooting guard out of Kentucky, man.
Yeah, no, it's just another Kentucky kid that's gonna do nothing in the league, but whatever.
Oh, damn.
It's fine. You know.
Next Thursday, we'll be back with more topics. You know how we're doing, episode 73. And we'll just keep it going with that and see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.
Peace out.